Good morning, students. So let's quickly revise what we have done in the previous class. In the previous class, we have seen the combination of capacitors. So we have seen two combination. One was series combination, and second is parallel combination of capacitors. Now, in the series combination of capacitor, equivalent capacitance can be found out by the formula 1 upon C equivalent is equals to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2 and so on. If there are more than 2 capacitance, you can just keep on adding them, you will get the C equivalent. Here there are only 2 capacitors, so here I can write Cs is equals to C1 C2 divided by C1 plus C2. So this is the equivalent capacitors of 2 capacitors who are connected in series. Similarly, if the capacitors are connected in parallel, the equivalent capacitance can be written as C1 plus C2. So here you just simply need to add the capacitance and you will get the equivalent capacitance if the capacitors are connected in parallel combination. Now let us do some problems based on the series and parallel combination of the capacitor. So you have already done series combination of resistance and parallel combination of resistance. So my advice to you would be, when I am writing the problem, after writing the problem you pause the video and try to attempt the problem on your own. So here you have two capacitors, 6 microfarad and 3 microfarad. They are connected in the series and you have to find the C equivalent. Now for this problem I can write a C equivalent, which is 1 upon Cs is equals to 1 by 6 plus 1 by 3, as one capacitance C1 is 6 and C2 is 3. So this will be 1 upon 6 plus 1 upon 3. This I can write 1 upon, this will be 9 divided, sorry, this will be 18, 9 divided by 18. From here 1 upon Cs will come out to be 1 upon 2. So Cs can be written as 2 microfarad. So here equivalent capacitance, if two capacitor of 6 and 3 microfarad are connected in series, the equivalent is 2 microfarad. You can directly find this also. Here only 2 capacitors are there, so Cs can be written as C1 C2, which is 6 into 3 divided by C1 plus C2, which is 9. So here this will be equals to 2 microfarad. Now you have a combination of two capacitors, 6 microfarad and 3 microfarad, and you can see these two are connected in parallel. So in parallel combination, the equivalent formula can be written as C1 plus C2. So this will be 6 plus 3, which is equals to 9 microfarad. So here parallel combination, you just simply need to add the capacitance of the capacitor, you will get the equivalent capacitor in parallel. Now here again between these 2 points, point A and point B, there are total 5 capacitors are connected like this, and you have to find the equivalent capacitance between point A and point B. Now here as you can see, all the capacitors are neither in series nor they are in parallel. Here you have some of the capacitor which are connected in series and some of the capacitor which are connected in parallel. So here you have to break the circuit in a small section, and you have to find the equivalent section, sorry, the equivalent of those small section, and then you can reduce this circuit. You have already done these kind of problems in current electricity. So here this 3 microfarad and 6 microfarad are connected in series. So I can write the equivalent of these two will be 2 microfarad. So instead of these two capacitors, I can write one single capacitor which will have a capacity of 2 microfarad. Now this 2 microfarad and this 1 microfarad are in parallel. As you can see, these two are in parallel. So combination of these two can be written as 3 microfarad. So I can replace these two capacitor with one single capacitor whose capacity is 3 microfarad. So here I am going to replace both these capacitor with one single capacitor which has a capacity of 3 microfarad. Now again you can see that this 3 microfarad and this 6 microfarad are again in series. So combination of these two will be 2 microfarad. So I can write these two are in series. So equivalent of these thing will be 2 microfarad, and I can replace these two with one single capacitor whose capacity is 2 microfarad. Now this 2 microfarad and this 2 microfarad are again in parallel. So equivalent of these two will be 4 microfarad. So finally I can write C equivalent between point A and B will be 4 microfarad. So here in the exam they can ask you a question based on the combination of capacitor. Some capacitors will be in series combination, some will be in the parallel combination, and you have to reduce the circuit by taking small sections. So like that you have done problems in the resistance. So we are not going to do many problems in this one. We are going to write the same result which you have done in the current electricity of a Wheatstone bridge for resistance. Similarly here also you have a Wheatstone bridge which has capacitors in it. Now in current electricity you have seen this kind of setup for resistance that was called as Wheatstone bridge. Now in the Wheatstone bridge the condition was if this multiplied by this is equals to this multiplied by this, then we say that Wheatstone bridge is balanced. So if this condition C1 C4 is equals to C2 C5 sorry C3, so these two multiplied is equals to these two multiplied, then we say that the Wheatstone bridge is balanced. If Wheatstone bridge is balanced, there will be no charge on this capacitor and the potential across this capacitor will be equal. So you can connect this capacitor or remove this capacitor with one single connecting wire. Then these two capacitor will become in series. These two will also these two will become parallel capacitors. These two are also going to be parallel, and these combination will be in series. So you can find the equivalent capacitance just like you have found out the equivalent resistance in the current electricity. So here if this condition holds true, you can remove this capacitor or you can connect these 2 points with one single wire. Now In previous classes we have seen that if you fill the gap between the capacitor plates with a medium of relative permittivity epsilon r, the capacitance increases by epsilon r times. Now let us see what happens if you do not fill the gap completely, but you just insert a very narrow dielectric slab which has very less thickness between the capacitor plates. So you have a capacitor, area of these plates is A, distance between the plate is D. So if I ask you what is the capacitance of this one, capacitance of this without the R, you can write C naught will be epsilon naught A divided by D. So if there is no dielectric medium is present, the capacitance can be written as epsilon naught A divided by D. Now what happens if I insert a slab or dielectric medium, but capacitor plates are not completely filled? I have inserted a dielectric slab of relative permittivity epsilon r, thickness of this one is D, and the distance of this plate from distance of this slab is x. So thickness of this one is T and the distance of dielectric slab from this plate is x, and we have to find the what happens to the capacitance in this case. Now as you know that if you are inserting a dielectric slab, here there will be an electric field between the capacitor plates. Due to that electric field, here in the dielectric there will be charge separation. So here there will be minus charge, here there will be plus charge, here plus charge on this plate. So there will be an induced minus charge here, and there will be induced positive charge here, and here the charge will be minus. So now you can see that I can consider this part as one capacitor, this part as another capacitor, and this part as another capacitor. So I can divide this whole capacitor into 3 capacitors, combination of 3 capacitors which are connected in series. So I can redraw this diagram like this. Now here you can see the area of these all the plates is A. So area of this is A, area of this one is also A, and area of this one is also A. Here in this capacitor there is no dielectric medium, so I can say here dielectric medium is epsilon naught, and here the distance between these two plates is x. Similarly here the area is A, distance between the plate will be the thickness of the slab, and it is completely filled with the slab. So I can write this thing as thickness of this one is D, and relative permittivity of this one is epsilon r. Similarly here there is no medium, so I can say here the medium will be epsilon naught, and the thickness will be D minus T minus x. So this is the thickness of the last, or the distance between the plates of the last capacitor. Now you can see that there are 3 capacitors which are in the series, and we can find the equivalent of these capacitors which are connected in series. So I can write equivalent capacitance will be 1 upon C equivalent, or Cs, is equals to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2 plus 1 upon C3. Here I am assuming this capacitor is C1, this capacitor is C2, and this capacitor is C3. Now capacitance of this capacitor I can write as, capacitance of this C1 can be written as epsilon naught A divided by x, because here the medium is epsilon naught, area of the plate is A, and the thickness or distance between the plate is x. So capacitance of this capacitor will be epsilon naught A divided by x. So here 1 upon C will become x divided by epsilon naught A. Now similarly the capacitance of this C2 I can write epsilon r epsilon naught A divided by the thickness of this one will be T. So here I can write this thing as T divided by epsilon r epsilon naught A. Similarly for the last one I can write the capacitance C3 will be epsilon naught A divided by D minus T minus x. So here I can write this thing as D minus T minus x divided by epsilon naught A. So this is the 1 upon Cs. Now from here from all these terms I can take 1 upon epsilon naught A common, and then I can take the reciprocal of this one. So I will get Cs is equals to epsilon naught A divided by, or let's do the calculations, 1 upon Cs is equals to 1 divided by epsilon naught A. This will be x, this will be T divided by epsilon r, and this will be d minus T minus x. So from here you will see that this x and this x will cancel each other, and the capacitance I can write C will be equals to epsilon naught A divided by d minus T plus T divided by epsilon r. So this is the equivalent capacitor of this capacitance. So here we have not filled the gap between the capacitor plate completely, we have just filled the gap of thickness T, then the capacitance will become this. Again you can see here also the capacitance is going to increase. One more thing which you can note here is the capacitance only depends on the medium of the dielectric slab and the thickness of the slab. It does not depend on what is the distance of the slab from the plates. So it does not depend on the x, where we have assumed x is the distance of the dielectric slab from one of the plate. So this is the formula for equivalent capacitance for a capacitor whose the gap between the capacitor plate is not completely filled, it is only filled up to a thickness of T. Now we will do one problem based on what we have learned just now. Now here the equivalent capacitance you have to find. Here you have not inserted one slab, you have inserted two slabs. Now thickness of this slab is d by 2 and thickness of this slab is also d by 2, and the relative permittivity of this one is K1 and relative permittivity of this one is K2, and you have to find the capacitance of these plates, so the capacitance of this capacitor. Now capacitor here, capacitance here I can write Cs is equals to epsilon naught A divided by d minus thickness of this one which is d by 2, plus we have seen the formula was d minus T plus T by epsilon r, where the r epsilon r is the relative permittivity. Sometimes they can give you relative permittivity or dielectric constant as K1 K2 also. So here I can write d minus d by 2, here thickness of this plate is d by 2 plus d by 2 into K1 minus d by 2 plus d by 2 K2. From here you will see that d by 2 will cancel out, and the equivalent capacitance will come out to be epsilon naught A divided by d by 2 K1 plus d by 2 K2. So here if there are more than 2 plates, then you have to extend the formula for more than 2 plates also. So here for more than 2 plates the formula can be written as Cs is equals to epsilon naught A divided by d minus T1 minus T2 and so on, plus T1 by K1 plus T2 by K2 and so on. Here I have used K1, K2, K3 as the dielectric constant. Here instead of using epsilon r, because for we have different slabs, so I have used K1, K2, K3 and so on. So here remember this is for multiple slab if you are inserting between the capacitor plates which are parallel to the capacitor plates. Now we have filled the gap between the capacitor plates by inserting the slab which was parallel to the capacitor. Now see, let us see what happens if you fill the gap between the capacitors like this. So here dielectric constant of this part is K2 and dielectric constant of this part is K1. Area of this side is A, sorry, the total area is A, this area is A by 2 and this also is A by 2. Now we have to find the capacitance of this one. Now just like I have done in the previous section, I can do the same thing here also. I can consider it as two capacitor. I can cut the capacitor from here and I can separate these two capacitor. So I can redraw the diagram like this. Here the distance between the capacitor plates will be d. So this is distance is d. Here this capacitor is filled with a capacitance of dielectric constant of K2 and this is filled with K1. Now here area of this capacitor is A by 2 and area of this capacitor is also A by 2 and I can see that these two capacitors are in parallel. So equivalent of these two can be written as Cb is equals to C1 plus C2. Now capacitance of this one I can write K1 times epsilon naught A divided by the area of this capacitor is A by 2 into the distance between the plates which is d. Similarly the capacitance of this one can be written as K2 times epsilon naught A divided by 2d. From here you can take epsilon naught A by d common and you can write this thing as K1 plus K2 divided by 2 into epsilon naught A divided by d. So now we can do problem based on the dielectric slab between the capacitor plates. Dielectric slab can completely fill the gap between the capacitor plates, or it can be inserted up to certain thickness, or it can inserted like this. So here in all these three cases you have to learn the technique how to solve the problems. First is, if you are inserting the dielectric slab in parallels, then you have to cut the capacitor from here and you have to separate it into two capacitors which will be in the series. And if the dielectric slabs are inserted like this, then you have to cut the capacitor like this and you have to separate these two capacitors like this. So now these two capacitors will be in the parallel and you can find the equivalent capacitance here. Now we will move on to the next topic in capacitor, which is dielectric breakdown and breakdown voltage. Now we have seen in electrostatics that if you have a dielectric medium and it is placed in an external electric field, and if the external electric field is very high, then the this dielectric will become a conductor, and this thing is called as dielectric breakdown. So by the same concept, here you have a capacitor and between the capacitor plates we have a dielectric slab. As you know, if you are connecting the battery to the capacitor, the electric field between the capacitor plates E can be written as V divided by D. Now if I increase the electric field, if I increase the potential of the battery, the electric field here is going to increase because E is directly proportional to the potential of the battery. So if this potential of the battery is increased, here electric field is going to increase. and if the electric field is very high, the dielectric slab will become conductor. So, this will be called as dielectric breakdown. Now, the value of electric field at which the dielectric breakdown happens, that is called as dielectric strength of the material. We will write the definition of these things. You can just understand the concept here. You are increasing the potential. So, when you are increasing the potential, electric field is also increasing. If the electric field is very high, the dielectric can become a conductor, and this situation is called as dielectric breakdown. Similarly, when this electric field at which the dielectric breakdown happens is called as dielectric strength of the material, and the potential at which the breakdown happens is called as breakdown voltage. So, now we are going to write three definitions. One will be dielectric breakdown, second one will be dielectric strength, and the last one is breakdown voltage. So, you can write the definition of dielectric breakdown. Dielectric breakdown is a situation where the dielectric starts behaving as a conductor. The dielectric starts behaving as a conductor due to very high external electric field. Second definition you can write is dielectric strength. Dielectric strength is the maximum value of electric field. Dielectric strength is the maximum value of electric field which the dielectric slab can withstand. So, the maximum value of electric field which the slab can withstand is called as dielectric strength. So, unit of dielectric strength will be Newton per coulomb or volt per meter, because it is just basically electric field. Similarly, the last definition you can write breakdown voltage. The external voltage at which breakdown happens is called as breakdown voltage. The external voltage at which breakdown happens is called as breakdown voltage. So, now we are going to move to the last topics in capacitor. From your NEET exam point of view, this topic is not that important, but because one problem is given in NCERT based on this concept, I am going to cover this concept, so you can just revise it at the last moment. So, the heading will be charging and discharging of capacitor. So, in charging and discharging of the capacitor, first we are going to start with the charging of the capacitor. So, we will do charging of the capacitor. Now, as you can see in this circuit, there is a battery resistance. Why? Because the capacitor is connected to the wire, and wire always have resistance, and there is a capacitor. Now, initially when the switch is open, there is no current in the circuit, there is no charge on the capacitor. So, at t is equals to 0, which means initial time, I can write initial charge is equals to 0 and initial current is also 0. So, here I naught and Q naught means I naught and Q naught means the charge and electric charge and current at the time t is equals to 0. Now, if I close this switch, now here in this circuit slowly there will be current, and slowly on the capacitor will get charge. So, here minus Q charge will flow from here and plus Q charge will deposit here. Now, I can see there is some charge on the capacitor and there is current in the circuit. Similarly, here I can write the potential across the resistance VR. Now, we are talking about at any time t. At any time t, the resistance across the voltage across the resistance can be written as I into R. Here I is the current at any time t. Similarly, the potential across capacitor can be written as Vc is equals to Q by C, because Q is equals to Cv. So potential across resistance is I into R, and potential across the capacitor at any time t will be Q by C. Here Q is the charge at any time t and I is the current at any time t. Now we have to find what is the value of I and Q with respect to time. So from this I can write here potential will be VR, which is across the resistance, and this is the potential across the capacitor. So I can write V is equals to VR plus Vc. So I can write V is equals to VR plus Vc. Here VR can be written as I into R and Vc can be written as Q by C. Now from this I can multiply this by C, so this will become Cv is equals to IRC minus Q. This Q will come here, plus Q. This Q comes here and RC will go in the denominator, so I can write this thing as I is equals to Cv minus Q divided by RC. Now from here I can be written as dq by dt, so I can take these q terms here and the dt terms here. So I can write dq by dt, current can be written as dq by dt, which is equals to Cv minus Q divided by RC. From here I can rearrange this thing to this dq by Cv minus Q is equals to dt by RC. Now here I have separated the variables q, and here t, there is no variable here, so I can now integrate this function separately. So if I do the integration both the sides, at t is equals to 0, the charge on the capacitor was 0. At t is equals to t, the charge on the capacitor is q. Now this integration can be written as minus of ln Cv minus Q divided by Cv. I can take minus sign common from here, and this integration will be Cv minus Q divided by Cv, which is equals to, here this integration can be written as t divided by RC, or from here I can write ln Cv minus Q divided by Cv is equals to minus of t by RC. I can take antilog both the sides, so this will become Cv minus Q is equals to Cv minus Q divided by Cv is equals to e power minus t by RC. Now again I can rearrange this thing and I can write this thing as so from here I can write Cv minus Q is equals to Cv times e power minus t by RC, and from here Q at any time t can be written as Cv minus Cv e power minus t by RC, and from here I can take Cv common, which is C into V 1 minus e power minus t by RC. Now here in this formula, C into V, C is the capacitance and V is the voltage across the battery. So this can be written as the maximum charge on the capacitor. So I can write this thing as Q. So this capital Q is the maximum charge on the capacitor, which is equals to Cv into 1 minus E minus T, and this term R into C has the same dimension as the time. So this I am going to call is that as another constant, which will be called as time constant. So here Q is maximum charge and tau is called as time constant, which is equals to 1 up, sorry, RC, this is called as time constant. So here you have to remember this formula, charge on the capacitor as a function of time. So now you know the charge on the capacitor as a function of time. If you divide both the side voltage, you can get the, sorry, if you divide both the side by capacitance, you can get the voltage across the capacitor also. So voltage across the capacitor can be written as Q divided by C, which will be equals to V, because this Q is equals to CV. This maximum charge on the capacitor is equals to CV. If I divide this Q by C, you will get the V. So this will be V 1 minus e power minus t by tau. So this is the voltage across the capacitor as a function of time. Similarly, you can find the current. Current will be dq by dt. Now if you differentiate this function with respect to time, you are going to get differentiation of CV will be nothing. So differentiation of this one will be minus will be plus e power minus t by divided by RC. So ultimately this will come out to be V by R e power minus t by tau. Now V by R is, I can write as the maximum current in the circuit. So I can write this thing again as I into e power minus t by tau. Here I is the maximum current in the circuit, which is V divided by R. And finally I can write the potential across the resistance as I into R. And I into R can be written as, I can multiply this term by R, so this will be IR, which is again will be V, so this will be V e power minus t by tau. So basically you have to remember the formulas for charge as a function of time, potential across the capacitor as a function of time, current as a function of time, and potential across the resistance as a function of time. So this is the charging of the capacitor. So I will write those formulas again. Charge on the capacitor as a function of time in charging can be written as Q1 minus e power minus t by tau. Potential across the capacitor can be written as V times 1 minus e power minus t by tau. And current in the circuit can be written as I times e power minus t by tau. And the potential across the resistance can be written as V times e power minus t by tau. So these are the formulas for current, charge and potential across capacitor and resistor. Now you know the relationship between charge and time. You can draw the graph of charge versus time. So if you draw the graph of charge versus time, the graph will look like this. Here this is the charge on the capacitor and this is the time. Similarly, you can write the you can draw the graph of voltage across the capacitor. So voltage across the capacitor will also look like, so here maximum value of the charge will be Q, which is equals to CV. Here maximum potential across the capacitor will be V. Similarly, you can draw the graph of current. The graph of current will be exponential decrease. You can see here E is e to power minus t. So here the graph will be exponential decrease. Maximum value of the current is I, which is equals to V by R. And similarly, you can draw the graph of VR versus t. And maximum voltage across the resistance is V. So as you can see, the current in the circuit is maximum at time t is equals to 0 and potential across the resistance is maximum at time t is equals to 0, and charge on the capacitor is maximum when the time is infinite, and potential across the capacitor is maximum when the time is infinite. So you have to remember these formulas and these 4 graphs for charging of the capacitor. Other than that, numerical problems can be solved by the formulas. Important things are you have to remember the graph of charging. What is the formula, sorry, what is the graph of charge, potential across the capacitor, current in the circuit, and resistance, sorry, potential across the resistance. So this is the charging of the capacitor. Now the last thing is discharging of capacitor. Now we have seen that if you want to charge the capacitor, connect it to battery and slowly it is going to get charged. Now once the capacitor is charged, you have to use it. So to discharge the capacitor, you can connect it to the external load or resistance. So you have a capacitor. Now this capacitor is already charged to a potential, or it has certain charge. So initially I am assuming capacitance of this one is C and the charge on the capacitor is Q. So now when the switch is open, there is no current is going to flow and the capacitor will remain charged. So at t is equals to 0, I can write Q naught, which is equals to Q, and the potential across the capacitor, which is initial potential across the capacitor, can be written as Vc is equals to Q divided by C. So this is the initial situation for the capacitor. Initial charge on the capacitor is Q. From the charge you can write the potential can be written as charge divided by the capacitance. So this is the capacitance, sorry, charge potential across the capacitor. Now if I close the switch, as you know, this side is positively charged, this one will be positively charged, this one is negatively charged. So charge is going to flow through this resistance and it is going to be come here and it is going to neutralize this plate. So slowly this capacitor is going to discharge. I am assuming at any time t the charge on the capacitor is Q. So this small q is the charge on the capacitor at any time t. So now we are talking about at any time t. Now as you know that this charge is flowing here and the flow of charge is current, so here there will be current in the circuit. Now potential across the capacitance will be Vc and potential across the resistance will be VR. And as these two are in parallel, I can write the potential across the capacitor and potential across the resistance is going to be same. So I can write at any time t potential across the capacitor, I can write charge divided by the capacitance. So it will be Q by C. And potential across the resistance can be written as VR, which is equals to I into R. Now from here Vc is equals to VR, so I am going to equate these two terms, I am going to solve it for I. So I can write I times R is equals to Q divided by C. From here I can be written as Q divided by RC. Here I is the current Q at any time t and Q is the charge on the capacitor at any time t, R is the value of the resistance and C is the value of the capacitor. I can be written as minus dq by dt. Now here I am using the minus sign because you know that charge on the capacitor is decreasing, so when the charge is decreasing you have to use the minus sign. So minus dq by dt is equals to Q divided by RC. Or I can rearrange this thing and I can write this thing as dq by q is equals to minus of dt by RC. Now again here also I have separated the variable, so I can easily integrate both the sides. So here the integration at t is equals to 0, the charge on the capacitor is capital Q. At time t is equals to t, the charge on the capacitor will be Q. So this integration will be ln q divided by q. So this I can write ln q divided by q, which is equals to minus of t by rc. This side integration will be t by rc and this side integration will be ln q divided by capital Q. Again I can take the antilog here, so this will be q divided by q, which is equals to minus of t by e power minus t by tau. Again I am going to write rc as tau. So from here q can be written as q times e power t by tau. So this is the charge as a function of time when the capacitor is discharging. Here q is the initial charge on the capacitor and q is the charge on the capacitor at any time t. Similarly, if I differentiate this function, I am going to get the current. So the current in the circuit can be written as I times e power minus t by tau. Here I is the initial current. Remember, here q is the initial charge and I is the initial current on the initial current in the circuit. So from here you can draw the graph of these two. Charge versus time graph will look like this. So here initially charge is q. Similarly, the graph of I versus t will also look like same. Here initial current is I and initial current I from here you can, if you differentiate this thing, if you want to find the potential across the capacitor at any time can be written as q by c. So this q by c you can find it from here, it will give you the q by c e power minus t by tau, and this q by c is v naught. So this can be written as vc is equals to v naught e power minus t by tau. Here remember v naught is the initial potential across the capacitor. Similarly, you can write the potential across the resistance, and potential across capacitor is same. So this can be written as v naught e power minus t by tau. So if you compare this relationship and v is equals to IR, you can write I is equals to v naught divided by R. So here initial current I is equals to v naught divided by R, and v naught can be written as q divided by c. So this will be q divided by RC. So initial current on the capacitor, initial current in the circuit will be q by RC, which is I. So these are the formulas for discharging of the capacitor. In discharging of the capacitor, all the graphs are going to look like this. Initial charge will be q, initial current will be I, and initial potential across the capacitor and resistance is going to be v naught. So don't get confused between charging of the capacitor and discharging of the capacitor. With this we are done with the chapter capacitor. This last topic, which is charging and discharging of the capacitor, you just need to remember the formulas and you have to remember the graph. Other than that, it's chapter. So this topic is slightly tough because it requires too much of integration and calculation. So just remember the formulas for this topic and the 4 graphs in charging and 4 graphs in the discharging. With this we are done with the capacitor. In the next class we are going to start the new chapter. Thank you.